As if the progress made on the fan translation for Zero no Kiseki wasn't enough good news for Trails fans, the moment has finally arrived. We are in the same month as the release date for Trails of Cold Steel 3 in the West, the highly awaited continuation of the adventures of Rien Schwarzer and Class 7. The start of the second half of the Trails of Cold Steel cycle, which connects strongly to the greater overarching story by bringing together characters and events that have been seen in Liberl, Crossbell, and Erebonia so far. I've already talked about the first two Trails of Cold Steel games, and even a bit about Cold Steel 3 in videos on the localization, but this is the moment for unbridled excitement at another Trails game coming to the West. Here we go. Trails of Cold Steel 3 is a turn-based, story-rich JRPG developed by Nihon Falcom and released in Japan in 2017. It's part of the larger Trails series and the even larger Legend of Heroes series, but if you're looking for a background on the history of the series, my other Trails videos will better suit you. Cold Steel 3 is coming to the West on October 22nd via NIS America, marking the first Trails game being localized by someone other than Xseed. They released a demo of the game in mid-September, focusing on the prologue dungeon, totaling in at a couple hours to complete. At the moment, the game is still a PS4 exclusive, and also as of now, there is no official word of any future ports. I do hope it makes its way to PC at the very least, given the first two games are on there, but Falcom has stated that they will not be doing any porting, so it is up to NIS America to port the game if they so desire. The game, like the two before it, takes place in the Erebonian Empire, one of the two superpowers of the continent. It picks up a year and a half after the events of Trails of Cold Steel 2 with the end of the Civil War and the occupation of the Crossbell State. Rien Schwarzer returns as the main character, this time as a war hero and military professor instead of as a student. He is tasked with leading the new Class 7 from the branch campus of Thors, established in a town called Leaves. Although he does have perhaps the smallest class size I've ever seen a teacher have, except that one time I had a class with just one person. I'm very excited to see how the politically explosive events that occurred a year and a half ago affect dynamics such as the class divide in Erebonia and the incorporation of the newly occupied Crossbell people into Imperial society. The combat gameplay is mostly the same system as the previous Cold Steel games, which is good because that combat system was quite fun. There's some new twists, new bonuses you can get from the turn bar, and a new system called Brave Orders which boosts your party's effectiveness. From what I've seen, these additions, plus some others, keeps the battles more fast-paced and engaging throughout, while also making them perhaps a little more strategic. Although I can't look for too much strategy, it's not Cold Steel's strength when it comes to gameplay. The out-of-combat gameplay is still a bit of a mystery to me, mainly because I don't want to research too heavily as I try to avoid spoilers, but I assume it functions in much the same way the Trails series has worked in every game so far. You travel to a particular location and get the opportunity to explore around, interacting with NPCs and going out into the field for battle. While in the field and town/city, there are also quests that can be completed, most of which are given to you up front. The main quest line advances the story, and side quests are fun diversions that give rewards as you push your rank up, and sometimes give insight into the world or characters. There are usually some hidden quests as well to give greater incentive to explore the area thoroughly before proceeding. It's worked for every game so far. I have little doubt it will be just as exciting in Cold Steel 3, especially with the new locations. Cold Steel 1 and Cold Steel 2 took place in pretty much all the same places, and while those locations are great, and we'll probably see them again, I'm ready for some new towns and cities to visit. Cold Steel 3 helps by bringing us more locations in the western part of the Empire than the first two games, which were mainly based in the central and eastern areas. In addition, some quality of life improvements have made exploring even easier than before, including, but not limited to, letting us know that we've already talked to that particular NPC. God bless you, Falcom. Thank you for that addition. Thank you so much. One of the highlights for me with the first couple Cold Steel games was the voice acting. The English cast is fantastic and really brought home the emotional weight for me. I'm ready to see our new characters with their voice actors, and the returning characters from prior games in the Trails series who weren't previously voiced. From the casting decisions announced, I can already say I'm very happy, especially with Yuna's voice actor, who is one of my favorite voice actors currently working. The presentation in general for Cold Steel 3 seems to be smoothed out visually, and I always look forward to hearing more excellent music from the team at Falcom. Lastly, The fun mini-games return with Vantage Masters supplanting Blade as the card game to boost your social links. Fishing also, of course, is returning. Unfortunately, snowboarding from Cold Steel 2 is not. Alas, we cannot have everything. Just most of the things. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. When the Trails series makes a game, you have a good idea of what you're going to get from it. And if it's your cup of tea, which it certainly is for me, you'll have an amazing time. The characters are wonderful, regardless of affinity, nationality, gender, you name it. Part of my excitement is to view how the new realities of the continent have affected my favorite characters from the previous games. The story and world building are top-notch, and the storytelling blends political intrigue with smaller personal conflicts in a very realistic way. The gameplay is always a treat where you can expect new innovations placed on the fun-based system. Simply put, these games are some of the most enjoyable video games I have ever played, and I still believe this series is criminally underappreciated. For those of you who are interested in this game who haven't played the first games though, I advise you to play the games before this one before jumping into Cold Steel 3. NIS America, for business purposes, have been promoting Cold Steel 3 as a jumping on point for newcomers. But if the Cold Steel series is really where you'd like to start your Trails adventure, Cold Steel 1 is the better starting point. If you want more detailed reasons to play the others first, I have a video on that very topic. I hope this video made you excited for the game coming out soon. For those of you who know my channel and are looking forward to my Why You Should Play video for this game once I've completed the game though, I must ask for patience. I intend to play the Crossbell games first, and that will push my playthrough of Cold Steel 3 back. And I also at this moment do not own a PS4, which makes the point kind of moot anyway. Don't stop that from jumping in though, because I want this series to be successful, and I know there are many fans like me ready to jump into the next part of this grand story. Just please don't spoil anything for me. Please. Thank you. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and comment below which characters you're most looking forward to meeting again in Cold Steel 3. Or, if you've never played the Cold Steel games before, which characters stood out to you so far. Subscribe for more Trails and other video game content, and I will see you in another video. Have a great day, and happy gaming!